without looking at your goals, acknowledging your goals, taking any action on your goals or executing on your goals, and you think you're going to produce results. The reality is you cannot violate principles and expect progress in your life. Write that down. You cannot violate principles and expect progress in your life. In other words, whatever you have declared out of sight, out of mind, is going to be the barrier to your success and prosperity, because whatever you are ignoring will never improve in your life. Whatever you are ignoring, you are not intentional about, and whatever you are ignoring will only perpetuate cycles of ineffectiveness and inconsistency. And so what you have to understand is that the key to changing your life, the key to changing and shifting your cycles in your life, it boils down to concentration. And whatever you concentrate on is what's going to consume your life, and whatever you concentrate on is what you're going to conquer in your life. And so you got to make sure that you are concentrating on the things that are going to aid your progress, your success, your growth, and your development. Let me just say this. Nobody is responsible for your success but you. I want you to get that. Nobody is responsible for your success but you. Why am I saying that? Because I talk to so many people that tell me, if only I was born into this family, if only I was born into this circumstances, if only I had this amount of money, if only I had this amount of education. What we don't understand is that excuses are the monuments that we build to mediocrity in our lives. And as I told you on previous episodes of this podcast, you can live your life in the margin of mediocrity, or you can live your life in the margin of mastery, but it's your decision. Everything that you are making excuses for, you have the ability to reverse engineer, to execute, and to create excellence and success in your life. And so you can keep telling yourself the sad story and all the reasons why you're not furthering your life and why you don't have this and you don't have that. But the reality is this, and I have some really, really tough conversations with myself all the time, and I've had them for years. And this is what I tell myself when I start to try to feel myself going into that little pity party victim story mode. This is what I tell myself. You are where you are because you choose to be there. And if you want something different, you'll do something different. A lot of us say we want something different, but we betray our hearts by our actions. Write that down. A lot of us say we want something different, but we betray our hearts by our actions. Why do I say that? If you really want different, you would do different. But you say you want different, but every day you go back to the same things that you say you don't want for your life. So what that lets me know is that you don't really want anything different. You want the same thing, and you do the same, you get the same. And your life is going to just be one big repeat that becomes a regret because you didn't pursue the things that were important to your life and to your destiny. And so I could go into a whole episode just talking about that, but I just thought that was important because, I mean, how long are we going to make excuses? How long are we going to tell our sad story and woe is me and blame everybody else for why our lives are not what we want them to be? At some point, you have to take responsibility, and you have to realize that your decisions have brought you here. And if your decisions have brought you here, your decisions can bring you there. And you are always one decision away from a different life. And so if the difference in your entire life boils down to decisions, then you have to get better at making decisions. I call it making empowered decisions, decisions that are going to not only fuel your progress, but are going to empower you to embrace your future. And so we're continuing this series more, having the resolve to reach for your dreams. This is part 5. What we talked about in the last episode, I feel like I should just review this really quickly. The more that you desire is on the other side of what you won't do. We talked about how more will never manifest in your life until you move towards it. And anything that you're not moving toward is not going to manifest in your life. And anything that you're not moving toward is something that's not a priority in your life. And so we talked a lot in the last episode about dealing with those boundaries and restrictions and psychological constructs that stand in the way of you and the progress and the change that you want to see happen in your life. I want to go a little bit differently today. This is where I want to go. More will remain a figment of the imagination if you never take action. So we talked about, a little bit last time, moving toward the life that you want. But I think that a lot of times we are enamored and romanticize the idea of more in our lives, but we are not willing to take the action that will produce the more that we want to see in our lives. And so as we have hit the month of July, the 9th day of July now, I want you to ask yourself a very important question. Are you taking action in order to manifest the more that you want to see in your life? Because I talk to so many people that talk a very good talk and talk a very good game, but when I look at their lives, they're not taking any action towards the thing that they say they want to see manifest. What I've discovered is that what is possible for your life will never manifest as long as you are passive. There's a scripture in the Bible that says that the kingdom suffers violence and the violent take it by force. What does that mean? That means that your future is something that you not only have to fight for, but your future is something that you're going to have to force your way into. In other words, this is not something that's just going to happen in your life by osmosis. You have to be intentional about your destiny. I want you to understand that just because there is a promise over your life or something that you have been destined to do does not mean that it's going to happen automatically. In order for you to realize your greatest potential and to fulfill the mission and the reason for your existence, there has to be an alignment of your life. And so many times we never advance, we never access what was possible for our lives and who we were destined to become because we are not willing to align for that thing. And one of the reasons we're not willing to align is because we are too passive in our pursuit of purpose and destiny. You have got to be willing to go for it and to go all in on the life that you say that you want. When I talk about the passion and the courage and the audacity to pursue the life that you were born to live, I'm not talking about a passive, aggressive type of pursuit. I'm talking about a diligent, relentless, passionate pursuit that is relentless in your possession of those things that have been destined and ordained for your life even before the foundation of the world. It boils down to a question of how bad do you really want it? How bad do you want a different life? How bad do you want more? How bad do you want new opportunities, new doors, new relationships, new influence, new wealth, new possibilities, new horizons, new whatever that thing is for you? How bad do you want it? Because until you want it bad enough to walk out of the old and into the new, nothing is going to change about your life. I believe that now more than ever, it's time for you to answer that question for yourself. How do I really want it? One of the things I always tell people is that I'm not called to the passive, the lazy, or the mediocre. I'm called to the high achiever. I'm called to the person that is passionately pursuing greatness and the realization of their potential. There are some people I don't even waste my time and energy because they don't have the hunger, they don't have the tenacity, they don't have the diligence or the drive for certain things to become a reality in their lives. And year after year and decade after decade, I continue to see them in the same place, doing the same things, living the same life with the same results, and nothing is changing for them. And they make all types of affirmations and declarations, and they know all the right things to do, but they're not doing anything. And so I'm talking to you today because I'm trying to shake you out of complacency. Complacency will cripple your potential. You got to stop being complacent. You got to stop putting off tomorrow what you have the power to do today. You have to stop living in the memories of yesterday at the expense of your prophetic future.